the heavyweight split one. First race is about to get underway, and the lights go green, and it's time to go racing. Driver in pole gets a dreadful acceleration there, allowing Ashley to go around the outside and get the overtake done. He drops down to second and potentially down into third, but he holds the inside line. Is he going to hold it? He goes back into second, and third place drops down a little bit as an overtake comes from fourth position there, and fifth goes through as well, going into turn 3 there, but it goes slightly wide, so he's able to capitalise back on that position there. So we've got now Ashley back down into second. He wasn't able to maintain that first place when he got the overtake done, and our first place driver has held that position as we're heading now into turn number 7 and 8. They're holding it, but King Brother is dropping all the way down into third place. He did get up to first by turn number 3, but he's now in this pack for second, third, fourth and fifth on the first lap here. So we're heading round to turn 11 here. There's a big gap between first and second, and there's a train from second down into fifth there, and then pit 6 down into 8. As we head across the line, I will give you some orders and some times. What we got here is Ian Wilkinson makes a move on turn 1 there. He's got the inside as he heads into turn 2, but drops back there as he's headed into turn 3, but he might be able to get them as he's heading round to turn 4. He gets the overtake done, and that driver drops down 2 positions as they head into turn number 4 there. Your current order is Tom Duffy in 4th, Ross in 2nd, Ashley in 3rd, Alex 4th, Carl 5th, Kyle in 6th, Simon in 7th, Ian in, well, he's now in 7th, so he managed to get an overtake done, Ash in 9th, John Paragon down 10th, and Samuel 11th, and Anthony in 12th. Let's have a look back at our races now, and your top 3 are starting to separate out a little bit. The King Brother is closing in though on second as they head round turn number 9 there. He was a hell of a lot faster going through that section compared to Ross Sandwell. And down the inside, a move is made by Cart 105, but he's not able to make it sit. It's Cart 108, which I do believe is Alex Hay, who is the current leader in the championship, manages the whole position going round turn 1 there. And Ian Wilkinson makes that move up onto Simon Fulton then, the 7th position. And as we're heading into turn number 4, there's a move being made by Ian Wilkinson once again. I'm not sure we lost that position there, and he's trying to regain it back, but we'll find out when they go across the timing line there. But they're heading round the winding sections of turn number 6, nearly going to be too wide if he goes for a dart move. Maybe he just doesn't. He tucks in behind and he solidifies that position. Ian is starting to pull away from that drive there. Your front runners out in front. There's a rather large gap starting to appear between first, second, third and fourth. And 4th place, I believe, is still Alex Hay, and he's getting a battle from the driver in 5th. Alex will probably drop off now unless he puts his head down and catches back up to those final few podium positions. Let's have a look at your time machine as they cross the line. We've got Tom Duffy, Ross Sandwell, Ashley, Alex Haig, Carl, Kyle, who drops a position to Ian. He did make that move into 6th. Then we've got Simon Fulton in 8th, Ash Chives in 9th, John in 10th, Samuel in 11th, and Anthony down in 12th. All the packs seem to be bunching out. This is probably the most spread out race we've had so far today. But down in the middle, there does seem to be a little bit of a battle going on with Ian Wilkinson there. And the gap between him and the driver behind is about 0.6. He's about for 6th place. And Ian Wilkinson has just been fighting his way up the grid so far today. So no wonder there is that little battle going on there. So it was 0.6 before. Let's see when Ian comes across the line, if it's any more, because the driver behind him, Kyle Simons, is having a little bit of a struggle with Simon Fulton behind him with just 0.4 between them. And as we head across the timing line, there's now a second gap between your pole sitter Tom Duffy and Ross Sandwell. That second gap is crucial for Tom trying to win this race, as he's now not really in that slipstream. So unless Ross can close down that gap, the race might be coming away from him here. But further down the grid, I do believe in 4th and 5th position, there's a bit more of a fun battle going on there. Alex Hay is only just 0.2 in front of Cole there. They're really having a battle as they're coming round the turn here. Alex Hay goes very defensive with Cole there as they're coming round into turn 10. Down the inside, Colin goes on Alex Hay, and he's going to go down turn 10 here, down the inside, manages to keep that position. Alex Hay's going to be eyeing up an overtake as they come into turn 11, then 12, just isn't close enough to capitalise on it. He's going to try and get that better exit using that slipstream. His hands in the air. Alex is not happy with what Colin did there, so not great for him. Can we have juniors also down to the pit lane for us? Juniors down to the pit lane. Get ready for your next race. Grab your helmets, grab your gloves, make your way down to the pit lane so we can get your session ran on time and hopefully we all be here at a decent time today. As we look as our front runners here, like I say, Carl managed to get past Alex Haig. So it goes Tom Duffy, Ross Sandwell, Ashley, Carl, Alex Haig, Ian Wilkinson, Kyle, Simon Fulton, Ash Chives, John Harrigan, Samuel Bennett, and then Anthony. Your gap out in front is still about a second, and then it is 2 seconds between Ross and Ashley King. Unless he can close down that gap, Ashley will cement that third place. As behind him, Paul and Alex are having a massive battle in this race. Actually, probably the only battle going on, apart from Samuel and Anthony down in 11th and 12th. As Anthony tries to make a dive there, going into turn 10, he's trying his best to reclaim the position. As we go across the timing line there, let's see what the gaps are saying out in front. Ashley now 2.5 off Ross Sandwell. It's still a second between Ross and Tom Duffy, so potentially he might be able to close this down. If he can stay within that window, he can break that second, he'll be able to close down the gap. There's 5 minutes left of this race, so more than enough time. If Tom Duffy makes a mistake, he'll be able to catch up and potentially win this race. Alex and Carl are still having this massive battle. It's about 0.5 between them currently, a bit bigger than it has been the past few laps, but all this battling, we look right behind him. Ian Wilson is coming down right on the case. It was originally 3 seconds between them, but it is now only 1.2 between Ian Wilson and Alex Haig. Hopefully he'll be able to capitalise on this. Ian is an absolutely incredible driver that drives very regularly at Three Sisters, regularly winning and on the podium there. So let's see if he can manage to do it. He's used to these sprint formats, but is he used to these 2-stroke karts? He usually races in 4-stroke. Let's see if he can change that today. As we're heading into turn 4 there, he has closed that gap down again. It is now just under 2 seconds, or 1 second now between them. So let's see if we can manage to gain on Alex. We go through the order. We've got Tom Duffy, Ross Sandwell, Ashley King, Carl, Alex Haig, Ian Wilson, Kyle Simmons, Simon Fulton, Ash Chives, John Harrigan, Anthony I can't say that name, and Samuel Bennett. Let's carry on with this race then. So King is very much on his own, and so is Ross and Tom Duffy. They just need to put in consistent laps now. They're all doing 56.4s, which is extremely quick for heavyweights. Your Tom Duffy's doing a 56.430, and Ross is doing a 56.491, so extremely consistent times there. And there's no way Ross is going to be catching with that pace. He needs to be going at 10 quickly. He's now 2.3 seconds off that lead, and Ashley King is about 2 seconds off Brass. But down further down the grid, we do have some changes as John Paragon drops down into 9th place. Sam Fulton managed to get the overtake done, and Anthony drops down into last with Ash capitalising and Samuel down in 11th. As we look further down the field into turn 6, I believe, there's a right old battle going on down at the bottom there between Samuel and Anthony. Not much in it between them, and they're wrestling for those final few points in this split one. They're coming into the last few corners here, and if you look just ahead in front of them two, you've also got John Paragon and Ash having a battle as well. So further down the field, there's a lot more battles that are happening out in front, which is turning into rather just a simple race for your front drivers there. And into turn 1, the two go. Anthony trying to make the move there on Samuel, but just can't manage to make it, and the gap between them is under 1:10. Absolutely so close between them, but out in front, the gap is now 2.4 seconds. Tom Duffy is really running away with this, and if he can just keep his cool, put in consistent laps, all three of those front runners should be able to bring it home. We've only 2 minutes remaining. Can they do it? Let's find out, as just behind one of the King brothers, we have Carl, who's really closed in the gap here. It was 1.2 seconds between them, but that does not look like 1.2 seconds now as they go across the timing loop. Let's have a look to see how close they actually are, and it is under a second. He's dropped half a second in that just one lap. And then right behind them, Alex Hagan, Ian Wilson are also having a battle with less than half a second between them going into these final few laps here. There could only be about 2 more laps left of this race, so if Ian wants to make a move, it's going to have to be soon. And if Carl is going to want to make a move, it's really going to have to be soon. Alex is trying his best to hold off Ian Wilson there as we're heading into turn 7. Ian goes a little bit tighter on Alex there. Alex is the current reigning champion in the championship for this, so if Ian can get points on him, this is huge for him in the championship standings. As they're coming around the final few corners, they head into turn 11. Ian is eyeing up the gap. He goes slightly wide. He gets a snap of oversteer as he heads into turn 12. There tries to get a bit of a switch, but he's just too far away now. That snap of oversteer really ruined his entry going into turn 12. And now look at that gap between them. It is dropped back off, but the gap between Carl and Ashley is still the same. It's about half a second between them. And down further on the grid, Ash and John Paragon are having a massive battle. It's only 0.2 between them as they head across the timing loop. That is for 9th and 10th position. All the drivers are starting to spread out, apart from one of the King brothers who's defending his 3rd place position currently. It was just around half a second last lap. That is starting to look a hell of a lot closer as we go into the last lap. They head round turn 12 here, and King is looking over his shoulder, and his 360 camera is going to have a great view of the driver right behind him as he's getting that slipstream heading down into turn 3. Is he going to be able to make the overtake as they head into turn 4? You can see as they head along that back straight, he's slowly gaining, but it is not enough. The gap is in there. The King brother defends it off, and he should be able to hold his position right up until the end. However, further down the field, Ash is still trying on Simon as they head down. They back into turn number 4. He's eyeing up the overtake, but he goes in defensive, but is it enough? Nearly wasn't enough. He just went enough to defend off Ash, I believe, there, holding that position. What a battle happening down there. But as we head back to the front, we head round turn 11 and we head round turn 12. He's not put a foot wrong all 12 corners of this circuit. Your winner for the first Split 1 heavyweights, as this car dies going across the line, it is Tom Duffy. He just managed to make it across the line as his car died. Wow, that nearly was a different turn event. So your running order for that race there, it was Tom Duffy, Ross Sandwell in 2nd, Ashley in 3rd, Carl in 4th, Alex in 5th, 6th we've got Ian, 7th we've got Kyle, 8th Simon Fulton, 9th we've got Ash, 10th we've got John Paragon, 11th we've got Samuel, and just behind him we've got Anthony down in 12th.
All right, so I spent the last interview with Tom Duffy talking to a dead camera. Now I've turned the camera on. Hello, Ross.
Hello.
This is Ross Sandwell. He drove me here to Tamworth very kindly in his car. It's a lovely Volkswagen Scirocco. Yeah. Ross, how was that race?
It went as well as I would have hoped to. It's just a shame that I made one mistake which cost me 2 seconds. Otherwise I was closing in on him to then hopefully fight for like the last 4 laps for the win. But I'm still happy with 2nd. Got a good lap in, I think, so we'll just go from there.
What exactly was that mistake? Because I saw you were looking like you had half a chance of winning that, and then suddenly it just all fell away. What was that mistake?
My ballast thing came up and shot up and past my face, so I then had to close the ballast, and by that time I was coming into the fastest corner on the track, reacted way too late, ended up on the grass. So I should have just closed it a corner after.
That is quite scary. That is quite scary, but a good drive. 2nd place despite a mechanical fault. Do you think you can go for a win later on?
I believe so. If I keep it consistent, I think I've got a chance. But to beat Tom, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we'll go for it.
Well, I believe in you, and if he does win, it'll make a nice atmosphere in the car on the way home. Anyway, thank you very much.
Cheers, thank you.